Hey, hello, here we go again. Welcome back to my little series Life at 5 from Thermo-Crazy Kitchen. And today it is all going to be about this little fella here, the butterfly whisk. So this one is called the butterfly, although you must admit it looks a little bit more like a dragonfly these days, doesn't it? However, it's got its name from the original shape from the TM31, and actually back then it still looked a little bit more like a butterfly. So now we just have to go with this. What does the butterfly actually do? So we use this beautiful attachment to help us aerating our food, but also a whipping or whisking agent. So whipping our cream to make even butter out of it, sometimes accidentally, sometimes on purpose, who knows. For our egg whites, making beautiful stiff egg whites for the pavlovas out there in the world. And but also we use it as a stirring aid for our curries and sauces and custards. So what it does, it helps to evenly distribute the mixing at actually very slow speed. All right, so there is one rule that comes with the butterfly whisk, and that means not to go over speed 4. There is actually a little imprint when you have a little closer look at your own butterfly whisk at home. I don't know if you can really see that. There's an imprint on every butterfly whisk out there where it says maximum speed 4. I always remember my 4 corners of my butterfly whisk not to go over speed 4. Right? You don't have to worry about it too much. When you follow a guided recipe, the setting will automatically be on speed 4 or under. This is really just something you need to remind of when you're doing your own manual recipes and your own manual cooking. However, as I said, it's actually designed to be on a slow speed unless you do some whipping and whisking. But for the stirring, and this is when it's very often I see questions out there when people say, oh, my butterfly completely comes off all the time, what am I doing wrong? Let me solve that little mystery here for you today. All right, so first of all, the butterfly whisk just sits on top of your blades in the bowl. And as you can see, there is basically only 2 ways it can go in, either this way or that way. Let me show you. So you'd pop that on top of the blades, either this way in between the blades or that way in between the blades. Now I hear you. There is this advice out there that people say it has to be on to the left of the blade with the highest angle when the wind blows from the north and it's night. Something like that. Very odd. Anyway, so this is nowhere to be found, that advice, in the official paperwork or also known as the instruction manual. Actually, it says the exact same thing like I'm telling you right now, is either way between the blades is fine. So where does this come from, this mystery with the left to the highest angle thing? It's probably, let's say, it's a best practice some consultants have came up with. Honestly, I never ever care about that, which side is the blade, because honestly, when you're using it as a stirring aid and your bowl is already full of a beautiful chicken curry or a chili, you don't know where that highest angle blade sits, whether it's left, right, because you can't see it. Your bowl is full of food. Anyway, so it is correct that you put it on top, and what you're going to do is you're going to give it a little bit of twist. Did you just see that? So when you pop it in straight in between the blades, you give it a little bit of twist. So you can twist it actually in both directions. So if you twist it to the right or you twist it to the left, then it locks in, right? I'm pulling, I can't take it out. To release that, you need to make sure, let me show you that you wiggle the little ball here on top a little bit and make sure you get all the way in the middle between the blades again. This is how you can take it out. All right, so why doesn't it matter whether you want to twist it to the left or to the right? It all depends on the cooking direction of your recipe. Let me explain, or let me translate that. So when you turn it to, let's say to the left, you're anticipating that you're using the sharp side of the blades, meaning you're turning going forward. This way, your blades are locked in, and this means the food that's in there will only be touched from the front, so you can't actually unlock it. If you go reverse with your cooking, you should turn it to the other side, to the right, because then again, if you go reverse, you're only pushing the food with the back side of the blades, the butterfly. All right, makes sense? So what sometimes can happen during a recipe, and a good example for that is the famous mushroom risotto recipe. Have a close look at some stage. It changes directions during cooking. There's another step sometime in between the cooking, and it changes cooking direction. So whilst the butterfly whisk is already in there and you change cooking direction, guess what's going to happen? I wanted to make sure I see it correct. So when you change cooking direction, also what happens is the butterfly moves. So, and if it doesn't get the whole room to move, to lock in the other side, because food's in the way, then it comes off during cooking. Make sense? So, my hot tip here for you today, if you use it as a stirring aid whilst cooking with your ears. If you hear anything that resembles like that, something went wrong. So it means it came off, all right? All you need to do is press your selector dial, which is like your emergency stop, press it and try to push it back in, all right, in between. And again, have a think about the cooking direction. Try to give it a push. Sometimes again, there will be, in the meantime, there will be food in between, so you cannot really lock it, okay? So just be mindful, cooking with your ears. If it keeps coming off, I suggest you take it out altogether. All right. We've never heard, or I have never heard of the butterfly coming off at speed 4 when you do when you use it for whisking, because usually for the whisking you have a liquid like your egg whites, or you have your cream or so. This means no food can go in between the locking mechanism, and that's why it doesn't come off. So I hope that all makes a little bit sense there. What else does the butterfly whisk do? So whilst we're using that as a stirring aid, it actually is very gentle on the food whilst moving it around, so it protects the food a little bit more from the blades. I find it very helpful when I use chicken breast in any of my curries or dishes that I make. I'm a big fan of chicken breast. I really don't like the chicken thigh. That stays nicer together, I know, and it's just me, okay? So if you're a little bit like me in this space and you prefer the chicken breast, always use the butterfly whisk as a stirring aid, because, as I said, it's gentler and it doesn't make shredded chicken out of your chicken breasts. So they just tend to fall apart much more easier than the chicken thigh. And also just cut the chicken breast pieces a little bit bigger. That also helps to let it stay in touch. All right, so it also prevents it from sticking underneath the blades, and also from burning if you're using a higher heat there. So very, very helpful tool. Sometimes when I make curries, I use turmeric. And we all know what's happening when you use turmeric in your food. The butterfly whisk and the inside of your bowl lid tend to turn green, sometimes even the spatula when you're using that in between. So don't worry, all of these attachments here have seen a lot of turmeric in their life, and guess what? They all came back grey again. And the trick here is sunlight. So just put it outside in the sunshine, give it a little bit of spa treatment, and they will come back in grey like the original colour was, and you can start making the next curry again. Other than that, it's absolutely dishwasher safe, so don't be afraid. I usually pop it in my cutlery basket in the bottom and this way around. So then the water can go in here and and get everything out from there in between. If you do have, if you do find this is not cleaning enough, then obviously with your brush you can also go through there and and use it again when it's time. And I also showed you the trick already, using it as an elevator for your food when you are using the Varoma. So you want, when you steam your food, you want to elevate your food. So because this is probably used anyway, so it's already dirty maybe, then just pop it in there and elevate your food for the steaming. Okay, so my best example for butterfly whisk, or the use of it for a dish also is, well, let's just quickly talk about mashed potato. Right, so that's the only dish I have also troubles keeping the butterfly whisk in. Sometimes it stays, sometimes it doesn't. So that really depends also on the sizes of the potato cubes that you're making, and just try to find out a size that works for you. But meanwhile, I tend to not use the butterfly whisk for cooking my potatoes for mashed potato anymore. I just cook them straight in a bowl with the milk and a lot of butter, because that's the way how I like it. And my hot tip for the mashed potato is always cook on reverse. Because what tends to happen is, whilst you're cooking the potatoes, whilst it should be a good idea to already cut them whilst they're cooking, you do actually release a lot of starches from the potato. So what happens is that your mashed potato becomes gooey and gluggy, and that's not a really good idea. So in saying that, although the guided recipe goes forward, you know that you can overwrite that mode. So try the mashed potato again. If you were not happy with the first version of it, go reverse, with or without the butterfly, that's completely up to you. And cook it on reverse and see if you like that version better. All right, that was it from me today. I know there's another Facebook Live going on with Thermomix in Australia, and they are featuring the Hall of Fame, something like the favorites. This is all part of our 20 years Thermomix in Australia celebrations going on. So maybe you want to head over to the Thermomix in Australia Facebook page and join Grace and the team over there doing the feature of the Hall of Fame. I will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow is going to be all about the bowl. I'm going to show you how to take it apart, back together again, and I also share my cleaning tips for the bowl with you. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you again. I see your thumbs up coming. I love that. And all right, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow again. If you missed any of the lives, on top of my page there is a live tab. You can rewatch all the ones that you might have missed. And happy learning, happy cooking, happy mixing. See you tomorrow. Bye.